Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life.
Welcome back to another fun episode of Next to Madison. I am your host, Madison Malloy, and on this episode, I am sitting down with an amazing, amazing woman. She is an author. She has worked for the UN. She has won awards. She is extremely optimistic and just in her own power, and I just love that. I find her inspiring and fun. We talk about the China-U.S. relationship. We talk about the power of getting older, importance of keeping balance, the importance of art and optimism, along with her new photo book of all her amazing journeys she's been on. So stay tuned after this brief message, and we'll be right back with our guest, Noelle Xie.
It's your host, Madison Malloy, and I have exciting news. My new product is now available on Amazon called Color Your Way to Abundance, a 21-day manifestation guide for wealth, health, and love. This unique coloring journal will help you manifest by coloring in the affirmations while you continue to repeat them. This will help activate these affirmations so they become a reality. Grab your copy today and relax, color, and start manifesting. All right, we are back on this very exciting episode of Next to Madison with our guest. We have author. She works for the UN. She does so many different things. I can't even put her title into one. So she is here to tell us about it. I have got Noelle Xie with us. Welcome to the show. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine.
You good? You good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make sure you're there with us. All right, so give us just a brief background about who you are, because you're a very fascinating woman who has accomplished so much in her life.
Well, thank you for your very kind words. I was born in Shanghai, China, and grew up in Shanghai, and then continued my education, University Sorbonne. I studied international law in Paris. I was very lucky to win a French government scholarship, late 80s. And then I started my first job in Geneva with World Health Organization as intern. Then following that internship, at that time, I only spoke Chinese and French, even without speaking one word English. So one of my colleagues, he's English, he said, oh, in order to make a career at the UN system, you have to speak English. So that I decided the best way is to come to United States, New York, early 90s. And then I did another internship with United Nations in the headquarters in New York. And of course, my English was not sufficient enough. So daytime, I just did some small jobs. And the evening or weekend, I learned English myself. Wow. And one of my methods, because I'm a movie fan, so I bought a MoMA membership. And I remember early 90s, almost every day or evening or weekends, I spent the MoMA basement cinema. I'm still going today. That's
I love that.
Really one of my favorite places to see movies. So saw a lot of Hitchcock movies, black and white films. So that's my way, I think, to improve my English quickly. And also, I found an American roommate. So I was really surrounded by English-speaking environment. So I made quick progress. And so it took me like almost 2 years. Then I went to UN to apply for a professional job, and I got it. So first with UNICEF in New York, then they sent me to Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa. I was stationed a few years. Then I came back to New York, worked in the headquarters UNICEF. And then also I served again World Health Organization in Geneva. Then in the middle of my career, I always wanted to do something with China. Even I lived in New York working with United Nations. I never got a formal American education. So I think I need to really know this country better. And I hope to work in a U.S. China area.
Yeah.
So I started to apply for a federal contractor, a job as an interpreter to facilitate what we call the International Leadership Program.
Oh, wow.
So this is the U.S. State Department exchange program. And every year, U.S. government, of course, funded this program, funded by Congress. We invite like over 5,000 international young leaders or international visitors. And out of that, around 100 Chinese visitors. So I've been working with that program over almost 20 years.
Okay,
I really enjoy it. And because of that program, I've traveled extensively in this beautiful country. I've been to 46 states now.
That's amazing.
So I
got to ask you, you know, just curious because of kind of everything that's going on right now, you being, you know, from China, but now an American citizen, how do you view the relationship with America and China? Do you feel that they are a threat to America? Because that's been a lot of the conversation, not obviously their leaders. Was it Xi Jinping, you know, who's kind of running a communist regime? And, you know, so talk a little bit about that, because that is very, very top of news.
The program that I was involved is really non-political. It's educational and a cultural exchange.
Yeah.
I think U.S. has enjoyed a very good relationship, productive relationship with China.
Yeah. There's so many amazing parts.
China, of course, has made a tremendous progress, especially economically. But of course, politically, China has a very different system.
Yeah.
But I'm somebody very optimist. So I think a better U.S.-China relation will definitely benefit both people.
Yeah, I think it's just better when we all get along, right?
We have a saying, seek common ground while keep differences. Because the two countries have very different historical background, very cultural, different cultures, different traditions. I think it's normal that some people think differently or
it's healthy.
Different perspectives.
It's very healthy. Yeah.
But I think we should continue exchange programs
to learn about each other,
mutual understanding, and avoid some misunderstanding or miscalculation.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, I mean, the people
and it's
of your
also
country,
better for the world peace.
It is. And the people are unbelievable. And it's just like they're under this dictatorship. And he's just horrible.
It's not up to me to say that.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, I'm not in China, so I can't get arrested. They're going to come find me in Tribeca.
I still respect, China as a country. I mean, the culture is
right. And that's what I'm saying. It's an amazing place. I want to go so badly. But I know that their leadership is very like
the political regime or political party with the culture, with the country. I still love China. China has made tremendous progress. But if they choose that path, really America cannot do that much. But it's better to engage China, to work with China in the area where we have common interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So you think there's hope for the leaders of both countries to finally work together?
Yes.
Because it's
really to benefit both countries and also benefit the peace of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so much power, but I know it's a communist regime, so it's just it just breaks my heart, you know, what's going on there.
Based on American history, we have worked with many countries whose system are very different than ours. So I think it's very hard for Americans to impose our value or our way of thinking to other people, especially to those strong leaders. I think it's very hard.
Yeah,
it's better to negotiate with them.
So,
avoid any conflict. Potential war.
Exactly. So do you think that because people have said like, oh yeah, there's, you know, we could go to war with China. And it's like, what we need
Oh,
that.
yeah.
No. What is happening?
Definitely we should avoid that. Yeah.
We should avoid all wars. We need to stop
Yeah,
all
yeah, of
wars
course.
and
Yeah.
learn to
I
work
always believe
together.
in communication, in
Ah,
negotiations. Yeah.
exactly. And respecting people's differences and their
Exactly.
opinion, because you know
Yes.
what? We're all creatures of the same planet, and we need to
Mhm.
learn to love each other and embrace
Yeah,
each other
respect
and
each other.
get rid of these dictatorships of these people that think they rule over everybody. This is everybody's planet, and God loves everybody,
But
you
maybe
know?
that kind of system works for China now. So it's really up to Chinese people. If they are okay with their leadership. So I think Americans will just to observe and try our best uh, to continue to work with China to make progress. I think in many areas that two countries have some common interest.
Yeah.
I call this kind of a constructive partnership.
Okay, I love that. Well, thank you for educating. I wanted to bring that up because it's like so in the news, and
Yeah,
you
it's
worked
in
for the
many people's mind.
UN and the
Yes.
Chinese, and it's good that we're having these conversations to kind of educate. And I love that, like, you've been in the UN, you've worked at UNICEF, you've worked in all these countries, and you're able to educate, and you have such an optimist view. I think people need to hear that because
Oh, yes.
I'm not fake news media. I just want to hear the stories. I want to hear the opinions. I want to hear the facts. I'm not here to push an agenda. I don't care about a narrative. We are just trying to make people happier and healthier and wealthier. So
Definitely, yeah.
we will, yeah. Okay, now we're out of the Washington politics side. So you have an exciting new book called Noelle, and I want you to tell us about that.
Yes, Noelle, subtitle is World Citizen and La Vie en Rose. Actually, it's a new edition. I published the book already 3 years ago. I wrote it during the pandemic 2020, and published 2021. It's a pure coincidence because during the pandemic, we had a lot of Zoom meetings. So I was invited by some Chinese universities to give lectures or panel discussions.
Yeah.
And before that, they always asked me to send some personal materials along with many photos. So I start to classify or categorize my photos. Then all of a sudden, they said, oh, it's better to write some captions because so many photos, photo memoir. And because there are different way to categorize. I don't know how you arrange your photos, especially now we live in a cell phone age. Everybody
Once they go on the cell phones, they die there.
Photos. So normally people arrange those photos maybe chronologically by years. But in my case, it's kind of difficult because I have different careers going on same time. And in 1 year, maybe I can be in France, in Africa, or in China, and also work in different areas with UN international development work, as well as State Department cultural exchange work. And also I serve as a curator of contemporary art. So I participated
You're amazing.
In important art events like Venice Biennale this year and Art Basel in Paris. I just came back from Paris a few days ago.
Excellent.
So idea. Sorry.
So what's in the book? Is it so? It's a memoir. It's a picture book, or is it a
books by different sections?
Okay.
Okay. So one section talking about my international development work.
Amazing.
With the United Nations in Africa, in Geneva, and in New York. Then there's one section or catalog. In the catalog, I put my work in the cultural and educational exchange area, because not only I work for the State Department for this international leadership program, but also myself, often I organize international exchange meetings or conferences in China or in the US, bring US European leaders to China, or the other way around, bring Chinese academic or business leaders to the US. So that's one category, like cultural, educational, or even sometimes governmental.
So is the majority of the book like just pictures with like a snapshot
it's
of
like
kind of history?
Photo memoir. Then the other category,
I love that.
I'm very active in the contemporary art field. So I organized or curated important art shows in Chelsea. I worked with galleries in New York, in Chelsea, in Paris, and also in China. And also I spoke in some art forums and chaired some meetings with the museum or art discussions. So that's category in contemporary art. Then also I'm very interested in fashion. 2019, after I won the French knighthood as a Chevalier de la Légion d'honneur.
Congrats on that, by the way.
I was invited by New York Fashion Week. A Chinese brand invited me as their fashion spokesperson to represent that brand. So myself, it's also my hobby. During the pandemic, I said I did two things. One is this book, and the other one, the first time I tried to design a dress. So like this dress, I designed it myself.
It's
so
gorgeous.
I designed four different dresses.
So I noticed that the sleeves are different.
Yes, it's like a asymmetric.
It's cute. Yeah.
Yes. I was inspired by contemporary art. So I designed some dresses. And for me, it's just a fun process. I'm not going to be a professional designer, but I enjoyed that process.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's very difficult to find a tailor in New York.
Yeah. And expensive too. So what was the inspiration to do this book? Was this something that you just wanted to put out there for the world to see, or were people saying, hey, you've lived such a fascinating life, you're such an accomplished woman, put this together?
I mentioned because all these people who invited me for Zoom talk, they asked me to send photos. So more I go into it, it's more like so many of them. So I think I need to better organize, because finally, this is the beauty of lockdown, because we are very peaceful, no parties, no events, like every day at home. So I had this the first year, 2020, the peaceful time to organize my archives and all the photos. And then one of my friends said, maybe you should better write some introductions of these photos. So I put into category, and then each category I wrote like one page of introduction. So in the beginning, I only did digital copy. I never thought that I would publish a book, because I'm not an author. I'm not a professional writer. For me, it's just fun and a way to organize myself.
Yeah.
So I sent that digital copy to maybe around 50 of my close friends, just to share. Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then some of them said, oh, that's great, you should publish it. I even don't know how to publish a book. I have no idea. So then I called a professional writer, because she has published several books, a dear friend. So she introduced me to a publishing house in New York. And it's very difficult to find a publishing house who can read both English and Chinese, because it's a bilingual book. I write one in the same book. I put one page English and one page Chinese.
Hold it up. So, I want to see it.
Yeah.
And where can people buy this book?
It's online on eBay, but most of the book I sold like this. Look, you see? So one page English and one page Chinese.
That's amazing.
And it's really dedicated to young people, especially young women. It's difficult for me to say. I'm not going to promote my life or my lifestyle. I just put there as a reference, because everybody has a different way to make ourselves happy, to have a meaningful or interesting life. But for me, it's just a reference. Because usually Americans have kind of a stereotype of Chinese culture or Chinese life. So my life maybe it's a little different maybe than most of Chinese immigrants. So my purpose is just to share with my audience, and to put there as a reference that the Chinese life may be different than other Chinese life.
Yeah. Well, everybody's life is different no matter where you come from, right? It's your perception, it's your
Yes,
attitude,
yes,
it's your
yeah.
how you were raised, your beliefs. I mean,
Yeah,
everything, our perception shapes our life. So
yeah.
let's get into the fun stuff.
Like dare to dream, dare to have adventures, dare to be different, dare to be ourselves.
Absolutely. So what would your advice be to women and men to take that risk, to not be afraid, to hold back, to thrive instead of survive? The majority of people on this planet are just simply surviving. You go on the subway in New York, you and I are both here, and the miserable faces you see, it breaks my heart because people are like, I just have to go to work to pay my bills. They're surviving. They're not thriving. So how do we get to that thriving mode?
I think to begin with, I think education is key. But education is not only for young people, you go to school. I believe in continuous education or continuous learning. No matter how old you are, you can be 20, 30, or 40, 50, 70, 80.
Yeah.
I think one of my motivations is to keep learning, keep exploring unknown zone. I think that's one way to have self-transcendence. Traveling is one way, but those if not everybody maybe enjoy long distance flight. But even at home in New York, we have so many possibilities, so many great institutions and museums, theaters, or opera houses. I think we are very blessed to live in this great city. There are so many possibilities to continuous learning and improve ourselves.
Okay. So you believe that, like, just
of course, exercise. You look so great and very
I try
athletic and sportive. I think that's also very important. I always tell my Chinese audience, they think, oh, doing sports is young people's business. I said, no, Americans, especially when you get older, you need even more exercise to keep healthy, keep fit, to have a good, healthy diet. So I always believe to keep balanced life, physically, emotionally, spiritually. The keep balance is very important. So in my book, I think on one page, I talk about the 3 dimensions of balance. First, because all my life I struggle to keep that kind of balance. Idealism, we all, aspire to achieve some of our goals or dreams, but also the idealism should go with life reality. So that's, I think it's very important. And also women, especially young women, can be very emotional. I think it's always important to keep your balance, rationality and emotionality.
Absolutely.
If we're too rational, we become very dry. We don't want to live like a machine, right?
No.
But if we're too emotional, too spontaneous, sometimes you also miss that balance because some work demands we have to be very rational.
No, absolutely. So Noelle, what does success mean to you?
I think this is all relative. I never consider myself as successful. I think we need to live a fulfilled life, no matter what stage you are. I think I have fulfilled some of my dream, but life is a long way. Okay, I still have, I think, a long way to go. So success, you mean getting this award? But of course, I think I'm very grateful to French government to bestow upon me that French high distinction.
Absolutely.
But this comes with a lot of responsibility also. Because now more, if I'm well known to certain circles, I think I just need to work harder to deserve that kind of recognition. It's nice to be recognized. I often say some young artists, maybe they are lucky, or some maybe young actors, if they get an Oscar or they get some great award, or if their prices go very high. But it's also difficult to hold that kind of fame or price.
Yeah.
So I just think it's also a challenge. It's just because you can have whatever you like.
Yeah. And I think everybody like wants success, right? But everyone's got like a different meaning. And a lot of people will be like, right, success is I've got a ton of money, I can do whatever I want, where, you know, success to somebody else is, you know, I love my family, I'm happy with my life, I have loving friends, I have fresh food to eat. So success is such a,
it's really all relative.
It's all perception.
And we all have our God-given potentials. I believe success is just you fully develop your potential and try to have a meaningful and
fulfilled life,
a happy, healthy, right?
Yeah. So success is living a full and fulfilled life, and it adding value, right? Like our most innovative companies, most successful people in the world, they have added tremendous value, and that is why they're so successful. And it's everybody's job to add value, even a value of just, I tell people, like holding the door open for somebody, complimenting on something they're wearing,
details,
having open conversations, you know, learning about other cultures, learning about other people, asking people how their day is. These are things that you know, kind of contribute to that.
So I always like to emphasize experiences. I think people really need to enjoy what they do. Maybe most people just look at the result. I think the process is very important.
That's why I go on the subway and I'm like,
try our best, but maybe the result is beyond our control. But as long as we make all our efforts, so experience really matters. I remember this great French artist, Marcel Duchamp. I'm sure many people know. And his last interview with an American journalist, the journalist asked him, which piece of work is your favorite or you think is your best? You know what his reply? He said, my best work is my life.
Oh, wow.
I really like that sentence.
Yes.
Because we are master or curator of our own life. Every day you wake up, how do you organize your life? Who do you choose to be your friend? Who do you choose to work with? Or what organization, what company you like to work? Or where do you like to travel? You make all these decisions.
Yeah.
You plan your life, right?
Yeah. So as a successful businesswoman, is there anything that scares you? Like, what are your fears? Because everybody's got fears.
A businesswoman. Actually, when I was younger, I wanted very much to work for a big American company, but did not turn out to be the case. I first worked for United Nations. I mentioned earlier in New York, in Africa, in Geneva. And then I also worked as a federal contractor for the State Department, U.S. State Department. So I cannot consider myself as a businesswoman because I never have my own company. I work as a contractor for the U.S. government. But writing this book is just a great adventure. So, of course, it depends how you define being a businesswoman.
You're working in business, you're making a difference.
This is the only product I'm selling. Even the clothes that I designed, I never think that I will go into the fashion business.
Listen, you're an inspiration to women. You've done great work all over. And, you know, you have such a ray of light and you're like a little ball of sunshine. And that's what the world needs more of, you know?
Oh, thank you for your very encouraging words.
Of course. And I love the optimism. So is there anything that does scare you? I like talking about fears because I really like to dig into irrational fears because I know as somebody who works in mindset and coaching corporations and individuals, there's so many underlying irrational fears that hold people back. For example, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of intimacy, fear of rejection. There's so many, but they're so irrational. So is there anything that scares you?
Yeah, courage is very, very important. Yeah. But sometimes, because I don't think everybody was born with courage.
No, again, well, they were
experiences.
But then it got zonked out of them.
Because courage gives you more self-confidence. The self-confidence is like a working process. More you
It
work
is.
hard, more you accomplish, and you develop your self-confidence. I don't think we can take self-confidence as granted. I think I have much more self-confidence today than 20 or 30 years ago. But one thing I really comment on American education, everything is relative. When you compare American children with Chinese children, or Asian children, or European children, majority of American children have tons of self-confidence. I think this is the beauty or great advantage of American education, because in schools, no matter what grade they get, the teachers or professors always encourage American kids. So that's really something great, because psychologically, Asian culture or Asian education, they usually don't encourage children that much. So most of us, we were very, very shy. We were not supposed to speak in public. Even at home, parents speak, children listen. I grew up like this. Okay,
wow.
Like children are not supposed to do many things, but American children are envious because they are so free. They can do so many things. Maybe in other culture, children
very lucky. Yeah. No, it's amazing. Yeah, and confidence is something, I feel that like as women, even though, it's harder for us than men to get older, there's so much societal pressure and the magazine covers and like all the crap you have to do and all the money you have to spend just to maintain what you got, right? And men can just age like crap and be fine. And it's like not fair. But I do feel that as you get older, you become so much more confident. There's such a power in, it's almost like that confidence. Like you
in
just
maturity and wisdom.
I don't give a F-U-C-K anymore, right? Like if somebody doesn't like me, how does that impact my life? I go out there, I push positivity, I do the best. But 15 years ago, or even 10 years ago, if somebody didn't like me, I'd be, but why? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'd throw in my whole day. Now I'm like, okay, like whatever. Like, I didn't do anything. Okay, got a problem? I did something. Let me know.
Women really
so it's like it just sucks, right? But it just
yeah.
exactly. But it just sucks because you're like, well, damn it! I wish I looked as good and had this confidence. You know what I mean? Like if I had this confidence at 25, I'd take over the world. But maybe we weren't designed that way because we had to grow and struggle and learn. But I think it's important for every woman to know that like you're amazing just as you are. Do the procedures if it makes you feel better, not because you think you need to do it. Work out, eat healthy, be the best you can, surround yourself with amazing people, and do work that you love, which you, my dear, have nailed. You seem to be just so optimist. You have followed your dream. You do what you love people. And I love that you were able to come on and share this story. It's wonderful.
I always look up some wonderful women, as you said, very successful women stories. Like this summer, I went to London to see the Yoko Ono retrospective show. And at 90, she is still active.
Not amazing.
And she's still creating. So I encourage many people, if I think the show is still going on in London, in Tate Museum, it's really wonderful. So all this kind of women is very inspiring. And also last week, I was in Paris doing Art Basel, and 8 French museums are showing a great African-American woman artist. Her name is Barbara Chase Ribble, and showing her beautiful sculptures. And she's 85. Imagine, she's still working hard.
So age is just a number.
Yeah, she's well-known in America. She's also an author. She wrote that famous book, Sally Hemings.
I mean, it's amazing.
Age is just a number.
It is, and that's why I tell people like, "Oh, I'm getting so."
A child's heart.
Yes, always stay immature.
And keep our imagination.
Mine. Exactly, stay immature. Always have an imagination. That's the thing, is right. As they say, getting old is a scam. They lie to you. Don't grow up. It's a scam. Always be young.
There's some wonderful things about getting old, because when we were younger, lack of experiences, we don't understand many things in the world. We were confused, right?
Well, we don't understand the true meaning. We don't understand the true
our experiences. So we develop some wisdom.
Yeah, we don't understand the true meaning
of peace with ourselves and with the world.
Yes. And
I feel much better now than maybe 20, 30 years ago. I think it's very rewarding when we are aging.
yes. And the thing I would say is that I think as you get older too, you understand more about what the true meaning of life is. It's not all the materialistic stuff.
How the world functions, how the world is working around us. Yeah.
All we have to do.
Appreciate life more. I think this is something when we were younger, we tend to sometimes waste of time for something insignificant. Now, no matter what happened to me, there's always something maybe unpleasant happened to us. But I think what's most important in life is time.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose 1 hour or even sometimes a few minutes. So appreciate each time, make each day to make the best out of it.
I love that. Great advice. All right. So where can people learn more about you and get your book? Because you are a very inspiring, amazing woman. So Noelle, where can we find you?
Well, actually, so far I have organized like almost 5 book events in New York for the last.
Do you have a website? So like do you have a website?
Most of the books are sold during those book launching events. Okay. But now I think for general public, they can easily go on eBay. Just Google me, Noelle Xie. Okay. So the book will come out. Okay. Picture book, World Citizen La Vie en Rose. So it's available on eBay. And by the way, in 1 week, I will talk about the book again in Washington, D.C. I was invited by Asian American Association in Maryland. So I've done 5 times in New York, 1 time in Paris, but it will be the first time I present this book in Washington, D.C. area.
Okay, well, wonderful. Okay, so since the majority of our listeners are not just in New York, go check out the book on eBay if you want to learn more. Google Noelle as well, and you can learn more about her amazing story, how she's an inspiration. And I love sitting down with interesting, educational, optimistic guests that add value and encourage you to live a happier, healthier, and wealthier life. So thank you, Noelle, and thank you to everybody who's listening. We will see you next time to find out who's next.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Also, if you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@nexttomadison.com. I thank you again for listening. Bye.